pals, and welcome back to my Wolves Tanks channel. I'm Antonow too, and today I'm bringing you the review of the Leopard Prototype A. This review has been awaited for a long time. It's been quite a while since I've reviewed my Indian Panzer and I've sold it afterwards, and now finally I've played through the Leopard Prototype A. As you can see down here, I've already got the Leopard 1, the tier 10 tank of the line. This tank is so absolutely amazing. I love it. I've only had about 4 games in it on the live server till now. I've played it a few times on the test server of 8.5 and 8.6, but I love it. I loved every second of it, and I love it now on the live server even more. But we aren't here to talk about the Leopard 1, we're here to talk about the Leopard Prototype A. If we quickly look at it in the tech tree, Germany, you can see it's the tier 9 tank of this lower German medium tank line leading up to the Leopard 1. And the alternative to this line is the E50 and the E50M line. The alternative German tier 9 tank is the E50. And both of these tanks are kind of similar because they're both snipey tanks. However, the Prototype A trades the armor of the E50 for more speed. And basically I think that's a good thing because the Leopard Prototype A can go at up to 65 kph, while the E50 can only go at 60 kph. And although that doesn't sound like that significant a difference, the Leopard Prototype A has got a far better power to weight ratio. So that means that this tank is a lot more agile than the E50. And that basically means on the battlefield that it's a lot more flexible. Well, the E50 has got better armor, but anything or most tanks the E50 faces can penetrate, even its upper glaciers. So I don't really think it makes that much difference. It makes a bit of a difference, sure, but not all that much. Yeah, the armor on the Leopard Prototype A, it's a big problem, but we'll come to that in time. First of all, the hit points. 1,650 hit points is not a lot. It's got 1,550 with a stock turret. With the improved turret, which doesn't look a lot different, you get 100 hit points more. It's not a lot. I haven't got any other tier 9 medium tanks to compare it to in my garage. It's kind of at the lower end of tier 9 medium tanks. Like, that's the same amount of hit points that the KV4 gets at tier 8, for example. It's not little, but it's not incredibly much. It's kind of pretty light. Around 40 tons weight is not a lot. It's surprisingly much, really, considering that it's that lightly armored as it is, but it's still not very heavy at all. This small weight is driven by an extremely powerful engine, 830 horsepower. You can just quickly have a look. The stock engine has got 630, so you get 200 horsepower improvement of the stock engine. So that means the upgraded engine gives you a lot of benefit in engine power and maneuverability. And this tank can definitely shift 20.8 horsepower on every ton. That's amazingly good. That's like most French tanks look at this tank with envy when it comes to power to weight ratio. The traverse speed of the tracks 42 degrees is a bit slow considering that it's this fast, really. You would expect a medium tank with that good a power to weight ratio to have a traverse speed of something like 50 degrees per second. However, you have to stick with what you've got, and don't get me wrong here, 42 degrees per second is an amazing traverse speed. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not as good as I expected it to be. But it's still, this tank can turn really quickly. Next, we come to the armor. And yes, the armor is the big problem on the Leopard Prototype A. I wouldn't really say it's a problem, because if you play this tank appropriately, the armor doesn't really matter. But the numbers speak for themselves. 70mm of frontal hull armor, 35 at the sides, 25 at the rear. Oh, that's ridiculous. 52mm at the front of the turret, 60 at the sides, 60 at the rear. But why has this tank got more turret armor at the sides and rear than at the front? But, it doesn't matter, because 60 or 50, it will be penetrated by a Hetzer at tier 4. And we're in a tier 9 tank. This will face stuff like IS-7s, E-100s, whatever. The problem with this armor is that if anybody sees a Leopard or a Leopard Prototype A, everybody will shoot at him directly, because everybody thinks, oh yes, an easy kill, he's got no armor. That's team up and kill him quickly. If you give your enemies the chance to do that, they'll definitely take you out within seconds. So you really have to play this tank with a lot of caution. You have to remember that you're really quick. Your enemies have to hit you before they can kill you, and that's going to be pretty difficult. Well, it's kind of ridiculous looking for weak spots in this tank. However, there are some pretty interesting weak spots. For example, the lower glaciers, because throughout the entire Leopard line, you can get ammo racked through your lower glaciers. I'm definitely sure that that's the case with the Indian Pans, and I'm definitely sure that it's the case with the Leopard 1. I'm not quite sure if that's the case with the Leopard Prototype A. I'm not 100% sure, but it kind of feels like it, because in 50% of my games I get ammo racked twice. This tank is just an ammo rack on tracks. It gets so annoying. Your ammo rack very, very rarely gets blown up. However, your ammo rack gets damaged a lot. One thing I find with the Leopard Prototype A is that a lot of people see it and think, oh my god, this tank has got no armor. Let's get it quickly. And they just don't aim at all and just aim in the general direction of the tank and fire. And they often hit this gun mantle here. Against your expectations, this gun mantle actually is surprisingly sturdy. Now, don't get me wrong here, it's not sturdy at all, but it's just a lot more sturdy than the rest of the tank, and you will get occasional bounces from the gun mantle. Another thing that happens a lot to me is that people hit the side of the turret and they'll bounce because it's 60mm at insane angles, so you get a lot of bounces from the sides of the turret and the gun mantle. Well, not really a lot of bounces, but you get some bounces. And what's also interesting is that this plate right here, this armor plate above the upper glaciers, is at an auto bounce angle. Don't ever shoot at this plate unless you can shoot at it from above. If not, never shoot this, because this plate, just this little bit here, is an auto bounce zone. And then obviously you've got these hatches here and this driver's hatch here, but you don't really need those because you can penetrate it anyway from every angle. You might want to know why this tank has got no armor. Well, the Leopard Prototype 8 was designed in the 1950s. It was a prototype of the Leopard 1, obviously, and tank designers decided that there was no point anymore in having a lot of armor on tanks, because the guns that were firing at them were getting that high penetration rates that no armor could stop. So they decided, instead of having kind of a bit of armor which could be penetrated anyway, and therefore kind of a sluggish tank, they decided to have no armor at all, and therefore get a lot of maneuverability and speed. And that's basically the tank build philosophy behind the Leopard Prototype A as well as the Leopard 1. It works out in the game well, because if you keep moving and you move pretty fast, a lot of people will miss you. We'll have a quick look at the gun. I want to compare this gun to the gun of the Leopard 1. It obviously isn't a fair comparison because the Leopard 1 is a tier 10 tank, but it's just kind of interesting because the guns are very similar. They are both a 105mm gun, and this is the L7A1. It's a British gun. And this gun is very, very similar to the gun of the Centurion 7.1 or the fighting vehicle 4402. And this is the L7A3, which also is a British gun. And this gun fires 1.5 shots less in the minute. This is the Leopard Prototype A's gun, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, because when you first get this tank and you haven't got any extras on it, no equipment, no crew skills, whatever, this tank will fire every 11 seconds. Well, this gun will fire every 15 seconds. Yeah, believe it or not, this gun has got the same rate of fire as a T-34's gun. At least, like the way I configured my T-34 on the test server. Both these guns fired exactly the same speed. I fired at exactly the same speed, so that's a bit depressing, especially considering that this is a fast medium tank here. The penetration is the same, it's very good. The gold ammo penetration is very, very good too. However, the HE penetration is not all that amazing. The damage is kind of not all that amazing. However, it's not bad at all. It's the same amount of damage that the IS's gun has, which is pretty fearsome. And even at tier 10, it's quite a lot, but it's less than other tier 10 tanks will have. The accuracy is 0.2 better on the L7A3 of the Leopard 1. So you've got 0.32 accuracy on the PTA's gun, which still is amazing. This gun is amazing at sniping. 0.32 accuracy is very, very good. But 0.3 accuracy is insanely good. 0.3 accuracy is the same accuracy that the E50M gets. This is the most accurate tier 10 gun, alongside with the E50M's gun. The aiming time is 2.3 seconds on the 10.5, which is a bit disappointing really. And 1.9 seconds on the L7A3, which is just ridiculously fast. The Leopard 1 basically is just a Leopard Prototype A that's been buffed in nearly every respect, but it plays nearly exactly the same. That's pretty useful if you're playing the Leopard Prototype A, only to grind out the XP for the Leopard 1, because you'll be training the playstyle that you need to apply to the Leopard 1 already on the PTA. Nearly all other stats are very, very similar to the Leopard 1 stats. For example, the armor is nearly exactly the same. We've not got all that many stats left now. 36 degrees per second turret rotation is a bit slow. It's kind of fast too, but it's a bit disappointing for a fast medium tank really. 400 meters view range is pretty damn good at tier 9 because that's tier 10 standard view range. So 400 meters view range is pretty good. However, that's only with upgraded turret. And then you've got 750 meters view range, which is tier 10 standard. How should you play this tank? Well, I've already kind of said it. The way I would recommend you to play this tank is to get into position quickly, which your speed will definitely allow you to. Snipe with your amazing accuracy, great pen, and kind of decent aiming time. You should snipe for the first half of the game. And after that, and if it's looking good for your team, then you can definitely come up front, help the push, help your allies by quickly getting around the flanks and rear of your enemies and attacking them from there, because that will really help your allies to push forwards. That's a very, very good idea in this tank. However, you shouldn't go rushing off right at the beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, you should really snipe, because that's what this tank is designed for. This tank can definitely carry the push. Just what you cannot do in this tank is expose yourself to a lot of enemy fire. And you definitely don't want to stop in front of enemy guns. You can only stop and aim when your tank is behind the enemy lines and the enemies are concentrating on your allies that are in front of them, and you can hammer their rears with your 105mm gun. That's not the only way to play this tank. There are other ways to play this tank very successfully, as the Leopard 1 too, because the PTA is a very, very versatile vehicle. You can play it as a fast flanking tank. You can play it you can try to get to key positions, which your fast speed will allow you to reach before your enemies do, and you can try to hold them till your support reaches that location, like for example heavies or slow and medium tanks or tank destroyers, and then you can push on forwards. You can even passively scout in this vehicle because it's got a very, very low profile, and you've got a very good view range at tier 9. That's an idea too. However, this tank's kind of wasted at spotting because of its pretty good gun, so I would really recommend sniping. And the low profile of this tank really allows you to snipe well too. Now that's kind of how I would work this tank, and well, you definitely want to have upgrades in form of equipment on this tank, because 15 seconds reload is just really, really bad. So you definitely want to have a gun lane drive, and you definitely want to have improved vents. Now, for the third piece of equipment, that's kind of up to you. I fitted a wet ammo rack, and I can definitely recommend that for you, because this tank just gets ammo racked all the time, again and again and again. And even with this wet ammo rack, which gives you 50% more durability for the ammo rack, you'll still get ammo rack damages all the time. And it's so annoying, because if your ammo rack is damaged, this tank will reload 30 seconds, except for if you've got an amazing crew and gun rammer and vents. But if you haven't, then this tank will reload 30 seconds with the wet ammo rack, which is the reload speed of a fighting vehicle 215B183. So that's ridiculous. So I would recommend you to go for setup, vents, tank gun rammer, and wet ammo rack. The great thing about these pieces of equipment are that wet ammo rack and the tank gun rammer both only cost 200,000 credits, while the improved vents only cost 150,000 credits. So that's pretty cheap. So you won't spend all that much money on while equipping a tank with these pieces of equipment. However, if you find that you play more like a sniper for the entire game and you don't really get hit at all, then you might want to swap the wet ammo rack for the camo net, which is a good idea too, because once you reach your location and you stay behind the bush all the time, camo net will really, really help in this tank to keep it covered up. And it's already got a very, very low profile, so camo net's a good idea in this tank too. the only real alternative to camo net or ammo rack is the vertical stabilizer. So for the third piece of equipment, again, I'd go with wet ammo rack really. However, if you find that you're having not that much problems with ammo racking, I would get camo net or the vertical stabilizer. Then for crew skills, I've gone with repairs for my entire crew for the first slot, just simply because I like to play this tank after I've sniped a bit at the beginning, more close up really, because I love the speed and I kind of feel that I'm wasting the potential of this tank sitting in a bush all the game. So I went with repairs because if you're tracked once in this tank, you're dead because you haven't got any ammo whatsoever. So repairs. And then I swapped repairs for safe storage with my loader, which definitely is a very good idea. And even with safe storage and wet ammo rack, I get ammo rack all the time. That's the only thing in this tank that I absolutely hate. It's not the armor. I've got no problem with the weak armor. I've got a problem with the ammo rack. Then, for the commander, you should definitely get Sixth Sense. You absolutely need Sixth Sense, especially if you're sniping. Sixth Sense is really useful. I didn't want to swap repairs for Sixth Sense yet because I haven't got BIA trained up entirely, and once I've got BIA trained up entirely, I'm going to swap repairs of the commander for Sixth Sense, then get BIA again, and after that I'm going to get retrain repairs as a third skill, because having only 200% repairs on my crew is a bit little, I feel. So yeah, that's your personal opinion. If you feel that you don't really need repairs, definitely get Sixth Sense as the first perk for the commander, because it's really important on this tank. And then situational awareness isn't a bad idea either, however only later on. As a second perk, I definitely get Brothers in Arms for the entire crew, because that will really help with your reload, with your speed, just with everything. And on this tank that's if not equipped otherwise, has got 15 seconds reload, Brothers in Arms is decisive. Then for your gunner, I would probably get Snapshot, because you're pretty quick with this tank, and while the accuracy on the move is not bad, it's kind of always good to have better accuracy on the move, so Snapshot will help. However, for sniping, Deadeye is a better idea. So again, if you want to play this tank more as a passive sniper, get Deadeye. If you want to play it in the front lines, get Snapshot. And then for the driver, you could choose between smooth ride or off-road driving for close-up combat. I'd probably get off-road driving instead of smooth ride, because you just get more benefit out of off-road driving, I think. However, if you don't like off-road driving, I'd probably get smooth ride instead. However, first of all, go for repairs with gunner and driver. And then after that, as I said, get Brothers in Arms on your entire crew. That's really important, and especially if you carry this crew over to the Leopard 1, you want to have Brothers in Arms too. So we haven't got anything left in regard, so let's see some gameplay. So the first game I'm showing you is a game when I first got my Leopard Prototype A. In the entire stock equipment, I haven't got a single upgraded module yet, and I'm still using the 90mm gun that the Indian Panzer uses, and that carries over from that tank. So this isn't the 105mm L7A1, it's the 90mm. And well, I must say the Leopard Prototype A is a very easy grind. You've only got one set of modules to upgrade to, so one upgraded module of every type, and the stock modules aren't bad at all. Like, this 90mm gun is pretty good, and it's even better on the Indian Panzer than it was on even better on the Leopard Prototype A than it was on the Indian Panzer, because its aiming time and reload improve. So that's very nice. And well, it's pretty speedy with the stock motor. It's not as speedy as with the best motor and so on, but it's still decent, you know. And I would really recommend you to research the motor and the tracks and the radio. I think the radio might carry over. I'm not quite sure, but well, not the radio, but I'd really recommend you to research the motor and the tracks before you get the upgraded gun. Because this gun here works fine, you just have to play this tank a bit differently with it. And Well, what is interesting is that the upgraded gun, the 105mm, is actually lighter than the 90mm. So that means you'll still get a buff in maneuverability when you upgrade to the 105mm gun, which is nice. But this tank works fine with the stock equipment, and it is a very, very easy grind. So you just have to, as I said, you just have to play it a bit differently, and the way you have to play it is kind of more as close up, because this gun isn't as accurate as the 105mm. It isn't a sniping gun really, it's more like a medium range gun, and you have to kind of more play this as a kind of I'd kind of say a hit and run tank. So you have to get round to the ass of the enemies, shoot them into it, and then quickly run away before they can swivel their gun round and shoot at you and fire at the next enemy. That's the way I would kind of play it. And what? Did I just penetrate the frontal turret of an E75 with this gun, which has only 212mm of penetration? What? Oh my god. Well, it might be that I just by pure RNG hit this kind of commander's cupola on his turret, but oh my god, I penetrated the frontal turret of an E75 with this gun? Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm gonna try to carousel this KV4, and you must bear in mind that this is only with the stock engine and stock suspension. So we get a nice shot into his ass, and now I can't carousel him because there are these kind of blocks in the way. So I retreat and try to go around the other side, but he's killed before he can kill me. So yeah, I get my second kill on the E50. My first kill was the T43. Okay, both of them weren't really very significant kills because I only kind of took off the last bit of health of those two tanks. But you know, it's still removing a gun from a game, so. And that was pretty nice there with that KV4, the way we carouseled him. Okay, it didn't quite work out because we weren't quite speedy enough. But still, we drew his attention so that Ferdinand could come and shoot his rear of the turret. So there's an IS-8 who drove onto these blocks here. So the AMX 5100 is hammering him with his autoloader, and now his autoloader is expired. So I finish off the IS-8. That's our third kill. And yeah, we only finish off enemies in this game. We finished off the T50, we finished off the T43, and now finally we finished off the IS-8. But that is kind of how you have to play this tank with this gun, because it doesn't do that much damage. The penetration is alright at tier 9. It's not great, but it's alright. And yeah, you kind of have to play this vehicle more like more like an assassin. You know, you just have to deal with enemies that have already been softened up and just finish them off when they're on low HP. That's kind of the way I recommend you to play it with the stock equipment. If you've got it fully upgraded, this tank becomes a totally different machine to play. Then you're a deadly sniper, and you're even good in the front lines once you've got your crew at 100% and you've got vents and the gun rammer. So a Yak Tiger up ahead, and can we get him? We fire on the move, yes. We shoot aside. This gun is actually pretty accurate while firing on the move. So we get another shot into his rear. I hoped to set him on fire, however it didn't work, and see, he got him. The E50 got him. So nice job, E50. And now there's only the Comet left, and they're just short of 3 minutes left of the game. So I'm just going to quickly jump forwards because now the wild goose chase for the Comet begins. So yes. And can we find him? Now we all know where he is. He's at A1 or A2, something like that. So we're all crowding in, but will we be fast enough? Will we be fast enough? We searched the entire map, and the only part we didn't search him in, there he is. So let's see. And yes, we can't find him. So still, that was a nice game, and as you can see, you can do well. It's difficult to do extremely well with the stock gun, but you're able to do well, and it's a pretty easy grind. I would really recommend you to get the engine and the tracks first before you get the upgraded gun, because this 90mm works out fine really. Let's see how this tank works out with the 100mm. So our second game is with the 105mm gun. This is the upgraded gun, and it's on Erlenberg, and let's see me do some sniping here. So I've headed over for the left flank, and if you look at the map you can see that there isn't all that much going on the right flank. There aren't a lot of people from our team heading out there, so that could be a bit tricky. However, I'm not gonna go over there right now because I can't really snipe over there all that well. But I kind of reckon at the moment that when I see that like my guys over there are doing kind of bad and they're losing the flank, then I kind of reckon to, or I'm planning to head over to that flank. So in the meanwhile, they haven't met any opposition over there, so it feels alright to defend this flank here along with my pals over here. We've got quite a lot of support here. We've got M103, okay, Tiger. Well, Tiger's good on this flank because he's a sniping target, T34. So we should be able to hold this flank pretty easily. And we just missed our shot on the 82. However, we get a nice juicy hit into the top of the turret of a T54E1. And let's see if we can repeat that. No, we can't. Oh, one of our Yak Tiger is dead. How did he die this quickly? Oh, that's a shame. Yak Tiger's a good tank. So now begins the big waiting. You know, I know that you should be playing this tank with a 105mm gun more as a sniper, but still I kind of play it usually as a, not as a brawling tank, but more like a you know, hit and run tank. You know, come around the rear, take a shot, and you know, get off of it, because it's just so much fun. So a T54E1, can we get him? Can we get him? Yes, we can. Okay, that was nice there. So yeah, that's really good. The improved alpha damage of this gun compared to the 90mm gun. The 90mm is, I think, it's got 250 average damage, while this one's got 390. So 390 is pretty nice at tier 9. It's not all that amazing at tier 10 anymore, but at tier 9 it does fine. So that even rhymes. At tier 9 it does fine. This is a really poetic review round here. So let's see if we can get the KV3. No, KV3, IS3 it is. So yes, we could. And pretty nice high damage roll there. 413 HP damage. So can we finish him off? No eyes on target. So we'll have to wait again. T34 there. And I'm kind of getting a bit bored now. So yeah. Oh, a Leopard. Okay. So, oh, we missed, didn't aim long enough. The aiming time is a bit too long, I feel, on this gun. Like 2.3 seconds isn't bad really, but for a sniper it's a bit too long. So let's see if we can get him this time. What? Seriously? We bounced off the side of a Leopard? Well, I think he just turned his turret in the moment where we shot, so that might have been it. So can we get the hull of a T-34? No, he just draws behind cover in the last second. So now I'm getting really bored and I just feel it's time to do something, so I decided to go on the rear, distract those guys down there, and then let my team advance on them. So that's what the Leopard Prototype A and the Leopard 1 do really, really well. Distract enemies, do cause confusion, and then let the teammates advance and kill them. I'm sorry if it's a bit bumpy here. I'm having problems with the replay system, so I'm really sorry for that. And yes, we won't bounce this time. 360 damage roll is a kind of a low roll. That's a shame. So can we get him? Can we get him? Oh no, somebody else finished him off. Let's see, the E75 finished him off. So nice high damage roll there, 450 damage about. And the T-34, did he shoot? I think he shot. So can we get him? Oh no, let's see, he finished him off. E75 again. He's having a good day. So let's see if we can get the IS3 vote. Yes, we can. Second kill, and we basically allowed our team to push this flank, and that's a really good idea in the Leopard prototype A. If you see a chance like this, grab it, because that's besides sniping what the Leopard tanks are really good at. And the Leopard won even more than the prototype A, but the PTA is good at it too. So there's an E75. I have to get into cover fast, although his gun's pretty inaccurate. Still, I don't want to have 600 damage sticking to me. So there's a Ferdinand and an IS-3 and a Leopard prototype A there too. I know their positions, XBM's telling them to me. So I'm still trying to stay in cover. And there's a Ferdinand. So long range shot here, 375 meters. But we've got no problem aiming and hitting. I think we get him on the top of the fighting compartment. But it doesn't really matter because we penetrated and did an above average damage roll. So I know that there's an IS-8 ahead, or at least he was spotted there last, and yes, there he is for sure. So what I do now is, well, I'm first of all a bit afraid of that E75, so I'm playing very cautiously here because I haven't got any armor. And the E75 can't see me though, I think, or I hope, because I'm behind cover here. However, he might be able to see me through the IS-8. Yeah, now he probably saw me because I saw him too. And there's the IS-8. Is he going to come out? Probably is, because everybody loves Leopard kills. So I track him, draw back first, then I decide that it's the right time to go round his rear and get a nice shot into his ass. However, what I don't realize is that he's turned his turret around, and there it is. I got ammo racked. Oh no, my ammo rack gets damaged so often. It's a real problem. So well, I repaired it because 20 seconds reload is too bad. So now my supports, and we did it again here. We distracted the IS-8 and allowed the Tiger 2 and the M103 to come up. But the M103 is kind of messing around with the E75. So we've got the choice between ammo rack and engine there. I decided to go for the engine because the chance of engine fire is higher than an ammo rack. So, but we didn't need an engine fire. We finished him off anyway. And now there's an IS-3 there. Can we get a shot at him? No eyes on target, but I know where he is. And oh, we ricocheted off the side. The side armor of the IS-3 can be pretty troll, even in a tier 9 sniping tank. So there's a Leopard PTA up at B1 probably, although he might have moved. He hasn't been spotted for quite a while now, and our entire team's closing in. The score's 12-6. Our enemies don't really stand a chance anymore. We've got 3 tier 9 tanks, all of our 3 tier 9 tanks, and they've only got 2 left, and an IS-3, and we've got piles of tier 8 support. So we should have this game in the bag. And the E75 spotted. I decide to head out to get him because he's kind of the biggest threat left on the enemy team. The prototype A won't be that big a threat because I don't think he can hide where he is, or where I think he is, where XVM is telling me he is. So it looks like the E75 is pretty isolated here. So I decide to go ahead and try to take him out. However, there's a nasty surprise waiting for me around this corner. It's called IS-3. So we could finish him off with one hit, however we don't manage. We leave him on 46 health, and there's the prototype A spot. So all of them have gone down here. That's pretty good team play actually. We could kill him with one shot now. What? 358 damage? Oh, you must be kidding me. And oh my god, that E75 is coming round. We get a shot into his flank. He didn't kill me, but now the IS-3 is coming and we died. Oh no. Oh, I really wasn't expecting this, that they would all draw together down here in the south end. So, we obviously won this game. And I've got the last game for you lined up, and then we'll have my summary. So, this is the last game we're going to have today in the LPT. In the PTA, sorry. And it's an encounter battle on Ensk, and against the nature of my tank, I've decided to head into the city just simply to have some fun. And because in encounter battle on Ensk, usually most people go for the field and the tracks, and nobody ever heads for the city. Okay, this team is kind of a bit different, but all the same, I decide to head into the city. And Yeah, this tank can look after itself even in this environment, although it's actually better played on open maps, like for example Redshire or something like that. So there's a T69 spotted. I decide to go round the left side here and do some outflanking. First of all, I have to take care of that IS-3. He gets a shot into me and bounces. You've got a Leopard bounce. Ha ha. Bounced off 72mm of armor. Oh no, that's actually only, yeah, it's 72mm of armor. Not 70 only. And yes, we get another thick, juicy hit into his side. And I'm not quite sure if I want to go out there again, because I'm pretty sure he's got the BL9 gun mounted, which can deal a lot of damage. However, he isn't there, so I can again control this street here and shoot at anybody who comes out. However, now he's occupied with the E75. E75 is doing a great job there. That means I can go round here and support the T32 by attacking the T69. So now, should I go for Jagdtiger or for the IS-3? I go for the Jagdtiger, but oh my god, is he aiming at me? Yes, I think he is. But now the IS-3 is distracting him, so now he's shot, now I can go. Or should I go for IS-3? No, the IS-3 is dead, so I go for Jagdtiger, go for Slow Glaciers, try to set him on fire, however, it doesn't work out. Now he's concentrating on the E75. I decide to go around the other side where he isn't expecting me. He's turning, but he's fired and he's a bit too slow, so I get another shot into his lower glaciers. A shame he isn't burning. The E75 gets another thick, juicy hit into him, and can we finish him off? Oh, come on. Yes. First kill. Okay, that was nice. Yeah, nice teamwork with the E75. Good job, E75. Thanks a lot. So, the KV4 got a shot into us and killed our gunner, but I repaired it, or not repaired him, I healed him, because the gunner is a pretty important guy on the Prototype A. Now there's another PTA. He knows that we're here, but how he's driving, we track him. A lot of damage there, a very high damage roll. Remember that this gun usually does 390 damage on average. This PTA is not playing really good. So where is he? Oh, he's away. Okay, so he shot, however, so yes, we finish him off. That was a lucky shot there. And a big problem with the Prototype A is that the gun depression to the rear is very bad, because it's got this box at the rear and it can't depress its gun if it turns the turret round to the rear. That's kind of a shame. So let's see if we can get a shot into the rear of that KV4. I'm gonna go for the side of the turret because the rear is angled, and third kill. This is going well. So there's only a E75, a Tortoise, an IS-3 and a Tiger 2 left. And well, our right flank's pretty secure too. Super Pershing's kind of rushed up here, and I kind of think he needs our support. It's coming too. So IS-3 shot, however, I want to go for the Tiger 2 because he's got a side to me and I can easily penetrate. I could obviously easily penetrate for IS-3 too, however, I want to be safe, so I go for the Tiger. And I don't know why I'm waiting here. I think I'm waiting for him to shoot, however he doesn't, so he's driving now, so he's so inaccurate that he probably can't hit me. I bounce off, a bit of a shame there. And now we could one-shot kill him, however, he's killed by the T30. So only a Tortoise and an E75 left. The Tortoise should be easy game for us. The E75 too. So let's see. Oh yes. Nice juicy shot into his rear. I'm saying juicy shot a lot here, aren't I? Okay, have to find another word. A big hit. It's a big hit into his rear. And he's killed just before we can finish him off. That was a very, very nice game. So as you can see, this tank can really look after itself, even in close quarters, even in city maps like Ensk. This map is amazing, and its gun's got so much punch. It's a lot of fun to play. So let's see some after game stats. So yeah, we got 74,969 credits, which just as well could be 75,000. And we got 3,150 experience. That's pretty nice. And a sniper medal on top. We killed the KV4, the Jagdtiger, and the Leopard prototype. We damaged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enemies and critted 3 and spotted 3. So we did, let's see, where did we come in the team? We did best. We got 1050 experience without any modifications in that game and dealt insane 4187 damage and 3 kills, as I already said. Just shortly after us came the Super Pershing, who did pretty well. That gun's lacking a lot of punch, so respect to the Super Pershing, and the Object did a lot of damage too, but with that BL-10 gun, that's no surprise. So on the enemy team, yeah, the E75 dealt quite a lot of damage. Except for him, they didn't do all that well really. The Jagdtiger did well, the Tortoise did alright. So let's see some more detailed stats of that game. We fired 13 shots, of which 13 hit, and we were firing at close range all the time. However, you must remember that we were firing a lot during the move, so that's a pretty nice ratio, and this gun is pretty accurate while on the move. Of our 13 shots, only 12 penetrated. We got that one bounce at the end of the IS-3, which was a bit of a shame. We dealt 4187 damage, received 5 hits, of which all 5 penetrated, which isn't a surprise. Oh wait, didn't that IS-3 ricochet? Right at the beginning? Ah no, I get it. The IS-3 damaged our tracks. That's why that's counted as penetration. Okay, I get it. So we received 1660 potential damage. There's that shot that our tracks absorbed. And we detected 3 enemies, damaged 7, destroyed 3, and we didn't enable any spotting damage. We travelled not all that far, however, if you consider how small the map is, that's quite a distance. And yeah, we travelled from our base to the end, or from our spawn point to the enemy spawn point, and then we attacked those guys on the right flank, like on the open field from the rear. So that was very nice. We couldn't keep all that much of our credits, like we could only keep 46,000 of our 45,000 credits. However, I've made the experience that if you run a premium account, you tend to make profits with your Prototype A, even using the 105mm. The ammo costs about 1,000, a bit more than 1,000 credits a shot. However, you still make profit usually with a premium account. Without a premium account, it will be a bit difficult. But well, if you want to use this tank like economically, and you want to be 100% sure that you don't lose any credits in your games, you should run it with the 90mm gun, because the shots only cost I think 200 or 300 bucks. So that's not all that much, and you'll easily run profits with the 90mm. However, with the 105mm and premium account, running profits isn't all that difficult either. And yeah, we did quite a lot of experience, which is, I guess we kind of earned that. So that was a very, very nice game, and I hope you enjoyed it. So after we've had this nice game, let's see how this tank sums up. So, the Leopard Prototype A. It's a very, very, very nice tank, and I didn't think I would enjoy it, because I didn't enjoy it on the test server of 8.5 when I played it. However, I do like it a lot, and it's just like the little brother of the Leopard 1. The PTA is kind of a bit worse than the Leopard 1 in every respect, but it's kind of got the same playstyle as the Leopard 1. And when you get the Leopard 1, I've had a few games and it's just so amazing. It's such a good tank. You've definitely got something to look forward to. I've already previewed it on the 8.5 test server. I'm probably going to do a review sometime soon. However, I still have to have some more games in this tank. And yeah, one thing I forgot to point out about the Leopard PTA is that its gun depression is a lot worse than the Leopard 1. The Leopard 1 is legendary for its good gun depression as a German tank, but the PTA has got this typical German bad gun depression. And especially when you turn the turret round to the rear, you can't depress the gun at all, because you've got this kind of box here, the engine box, I'll call it, and that kind of blocks your gun when you want to depress it when you turn your turret to the rear. But, well, the gun depression isn't all that bad, but it just isn't very good. But except for that, it's a very, very nice tank, and I would really recommend you to get a gun rammer, at least, and vents if you can afford them. They don't cost all that much altogether. They'll only cost you 350,000 credits. It's really worthwhile, because it will really reduce your aiming time, your reload time a lot. And if you then still got some money left, definitely check out the wet ammo rack, because ammo racking in this tank is a real problem. Yeah, so I really love this tank, as I already said. It's very versatile on the battlefield, and if you're looking for something fast, opportunistic, and a tank that can play in a lot of different roles in a random game or in clan wars or whatever, this is probably the right thing for you. And the Leopard 1 is too, and I probably upgrade to the Leopard 1 from the Prototype A, because the Leopard 1 just is the Prototype A, only better. The Leopard 1 is 30% off at the moment because there's a special. If you look at it, here it only costs 4.2 credits, 4.2 million credits. So that's pretty cheap for a tier 10 tank. So the Prototype A costs only that much too. No, it's 30% off too, and the Indian Panzer is too. So if you're planning on going down this line, definitely do it now. The offer is still running till the 30th August on the EU server. So if you're playing the EU server, definitely check this line out. I can really recommend it, and I can really recommend the tier 9 tank. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it gave you some useful information on how to play this tank and how to modify it. If it did, consider giving it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean a lot to me. And I hope I'll see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye.